Hello everyone, I'm Pier Antonio Fanelli and I'm here to show you today our newly published integration between Odoo Enterprise and KeyPay. My role in Odoo is to be a professional services team leader for Odoo Hong Kong, and I also work as a functional consultant. And I'm happy to announce today that we will be able to integrate Odoo with KeyPay, which is a single touch payroll enabled software. The agenda for today is we will first see what the integration is and how it works in a second moment, and then I will give you an overview of the functional steps that are required to configure the integration and the result of the integration in Odoo. What is KeyPay? Let's first of all introduce KeyPay. You may already be familiar with this platform, but as you know, in Australia, some softwares are single touch payroll enabled. Single touch payroll is a regulation that the Australian government released recently, and all payroll softwares must comply to this regulation. As Odoo Enterprise doesn't comply itself with this Australian regulation, we decided to start this collaboration with KeyPay and make sure that all our Odoo Enterprise users in Australia will be able to be compliant with this regulation by just having an Odoo account, a KeyPay account, and using our built-in, free of charge integration between Odoo and KeyPay. So let's move on to see how it works. It's a one-way API integration, meaning that we only fetch data from KeyPay into Odoo. All the payroll data, such as employees' information, timesheets, pay slips, rostering, expenses, and so forth, will still be recorded in KeyPay platform. And what we will do is that we will just schedule a one-way journal entries import into Odoo to make sure that our profit and loss in terms of expenses and our balance sheet in terms of liabilities and assets and payables will be up to date at any time. This feature has been merged in Odoo 13.0 and 14.0, so our Odoo SH customer from these two last versions will also be able to benefit from this integration, and it will definitely be maintained in future versions. How it works is quite simple. It just entails few very basic steps that any Odoo user can follow. We first need to create pay slips in KeyPay. I will show you later on a KeyPay dummy database where we already have a number of pay slips that have been validated that are linked to timesheets. We just need to then map the KeyPay and Odoo accounts. These accounts are payable, expenses, and liability types accounts. So we just need to make sure that code and name match between KeyPay and Odoo. And the third step is automatic. The API, through a scheduled action, will automatically fetch the journal entries and import them in Odoo in draft state so that our accountant will be able to first review them and then post them, or we can also select the option to post them automatically to ease the life of our nice accountant. Let's dive in our demo. I will first show you the KeyPay platform. So there is just a dummy database, and here we have our dashboard, and we can see that we've loaded a few timesheets. We only have one employee in this database. We don't need more than one for the purpose of showing it and understanding how it works. We can create any timesheet. We can select an employee. And these are all the timesheets that we've already created. Well, not all these timesheets are approved, but we already have some approved timesheets in this database, so we can show how the integration works. Now, if we switch to Odoo, first of all, first thing we need to make sure in order to benefit from the integration is that our company is an Australian company, So we can go on our company page information and see that we must select the country as Australia, the currency as Australian dollars, and this is all we need in terms of company settings. Then we need to make sure that in our accounting, the Australian package localization is installed, fiscal localization, and the next step is to install the KeyPay integration module. So let's just search in the apps KeyPay. It's a module, so we remove the apps filter and we just install KeyPay Australian Payroll. Let's wait for it to refresh. We will then have a look at the fields, the various fields that we need to set in the accounting settings so that our KeyPay integration will be working. Enable KeyPay integration. And we just need to enter the KeyPay API key and the payroll URL. So let's fetch this information first from our KeyPay database. Where do we find this? We just go in the main page of our business in the payroll settings. And in my account, we will be able to copy the API key. We can then paste it here. We don't need to change this address. Then we need to click Enable KeyPay Integration. We need to enter the business ID. The business ID is just in the URL of your KeyPay database. So let's just go in the dashboard. And this is our business ID. So we will just copy it from here. Paste. We can set a starting date for a pay run. I won't set any today. And then we need to choose a payroll journal. I will just choose a miscellaneous operations journal. It's indifferent. We can also create a salaries journal. We can now save. So we first have the option to fetch the pay runs manually, so to trigger the integration manually. But I want to show you how actually the scheduled action is configured. So we need to activate the developer mode. This is for pure demo purposes. Users do not need to do this, but I just want to show you how it works. And in the scheduled actions, we may just look for KeyPay Payroll Sync. This scheduled action has been installed by our module. And here we can change the execution date, the frequency, the user, and so forth. So we can run manually the scheduled action. But before that, I need to show you the second step of the configuration. As I said in my presentation, we need to make sure that the accounts used by KeyPay accounting system are the same in Odoo. So let's first have a look at the accounts in KeyPay. So we can just go again in our payroll settings of our KeyPay business. We can navigate through chart of accounts, and we can see the default accounts that KeyPay uses. These are the accounts that are used by KeyPay journal entries. I've just used random names. You will have your codes or your own names. So we need to make sure that these accounts also exist in our Odoo database chart to accounts, which I did, and I imported the accounts. As we can see in the chart of accounts, we can group by, created by, just to show you. The Odoo bot accounts are the default ones, and when I created this database, I've imported the accounts that we have in KeyPay, and as you can see, code and name are exactly the same. Hence, we make sure that the integration will work. The types, you can take inspiration from my example to set the types. So once the account mapping is done, it's very easy to schedule, to run the integration. We can just go in settings, look for KeyPay, and fetch the pay runs manually. The integration is now being launched. And each payslip will be created as a separate journal entry posted on miscellaneous operations. As you can see, we also have the number of pay runs. Only validated payslips will be integrated, will be imported in Odoo. So this means that I have validated 18 payslips in KeyPay, and those payslips that have already been imported from KeyPay to Odoo will obviously be ignored by the integration. So we can check our journal entries, and these are all the payslips that have been imported in Odoo. We have labels which come straight from payslip from KeyPay, and this is the payslip ID, which will help us find the payslip, the origin payslip, very easily in KeyPay. I will show you how. Let's go again in our pay runs, and we can look for the very first pay run, which is this one. And you can see in the URL, we have the pay run ID, which is exactly the same as this value in Odoo. So it will be very easy for the user to match. And as you can see also, we can compare all the different values across the two systems very easily. We can see all the amounts that were booked, and we can see the corresponding integration in Odoo. Then our accountant can post the entry, and our entry will affect profit and loss and balance sheet. So this is it. It's very, very simple to use. It takes basic configuration steps to just be used. So I'm sure that any of our Australian users will be able to benefit from this very simple yet effective integration. That's it for today. Thanks a lot for your attention. Do please let us know if you have any questions, and feel free to schedule a meeting with us with the link in the description box of this video. Thank you.